Hello everyone, Johnny Miner here, and today we are learning Japanese with Kirby's Adventure. Last time we did level 5 and level 6, so today we'll start level 7 and most likely we'll finish the game, but of course we'll see when we play. We don't well, let's start. Okay, start the game itself. And yes, we actually have a new title, rank also, we could call these, because we have a high enough percentage, and I'm pretty sure we didn't check this one out last time. It's Rekishi no Ijin. First and foremost, we have Rekishi. We check its accent, but it means history. Let's see its accent. Unaccented, okay. It's a Chinese compound, of course. Then we have the possessive particle no, so of history. And then we have Ijin. Which has several meanings, but in this case I'd say it would be the most common one, which is great person, eminent figure. Let's check its accent. Unaccented also. So as a whole, this title is unaccented. Rekishi no Ijin. And so the meaning would be, if this is the correct interpretation of Ijin, most likely it is, considering that other meanings are, for just to make an example, barbarian or foreigner. No. So the meaning is great person, eminent figure of history. And with that, we can actually start our save file. Rainbow Resort. We'll watch the cutscene again. Pretty funny. Notice that the border is the color red, because as I mentioned last time, each level has one of the colors of the rainbow, starting with level 7 and then going backwards. Or you could say that we start with the last one and then go backwards, starting from level 1 to level 7, but the sense is that the rainbow starts here and then goes up to level 1. And we have each color. Here we can see, we have seen the red in the border of the cutscene. We can see the initial in the name of the level, Rainbow Resort, and so R for red. And then we had all the other ones, but I mentioned it last time. I think it also applies to the Warp Star Station, but we'll check that when we unlock this one. And without further ado, we can start stage 1. Okay, we have laser. Funny enough, you automatically defeat that sleep enemy with it. Yeah. A stage better for laser than this one. Honestly, it's difficult to find them. Okay. Oh, you quest died. And yeah, as we have seen at the end of the last world, that is level 6, levels are called... words are called levels in Kirby games. Here we are in IC level, because the previous world ended as such. We have this room. Oh, slow down due to these enemies, especially Spark. Well, let's get rid of that. We'll get fire as soon as the enemy stops spitting it. Yes, perfect. Okay. Let's continue. Well, maybe if I can get it... yes, beam might be the best one here. Because of that, in case we have some spots that are far. Well, we have seen here that there's a secret. Well, it was technically a secret to get beam from the enemy properly, but it worked the other way as well. So let's continue. Those... nothing there. Of course, just like last time we have seen it at full force. We are on the lookout for the switches, since those are required for completion. Okay, we can do that, but then how can we get to that door? I do not remember. Maybe we need burning. Of course, I'm not getting it that way, but okay, now we should be able to get it. Please come here. Okay. Nope. Maybe by also considering that beam was inside there, in this special area with the blocks well, blocking it, maybe we need it up here. That's my only guess now at this point, but let's try it. Hopefully without dying. Yes. Okay, we have to... It's not easy in this game to immediately spit, release the air, and then use the ability. But looks like we made it. Yeah, you needed an ability that could hit upwards. Otherwise we would be out of luck. And then we have these blocks that are unfortunately can't be destroyed with this. Let's try burning at this point. If I can get it without dying. Okay. Got the ability itself without dying, but of course then there are the enemies. Oh boy. Let's see if... yes, perfect. We can use burning here. So luckily they gave us all the tools. And we wanted it because of course it was one of the switches for 100% completion. Okay. And by the way, since as you have seen our current percentage is 84, after a couple, at most 3 stages, we'll have to go back to the title screen to check the new title before getting, of course, 100%, and so miss that one. Okay, but we have finished this stage. Perfect. And yes, of course, finished and completed because we got also the button. And so we have a mini game, our usual Crane Fever. Okay, I might have noticed certain something that I didn't know of. Did you notice the... too bad that I missed that. The 2 little stars at the bottom of the description. I guess that is actually shows the difficulty, because as you have seen, I did bad on my own, honestly, more than no bonus, so we get to see that at least. But yes, maybe those 2 stars were the difficulty, as you might have noticed that the crane moved way faster this time. But oh well, we'll maybe see that again with another mini game. For now, let's start stage 2. I think this is that kind of stage we'll see in a second. Yes, a mini boss gauntlet, a classic of seen also in later Kirby games. Well, and of course, reminiscent of the boss gauntlet in the very first game, Kirby's Dream Land. As you can see, you can get to the next one. I wonder if I missed something there. I feel like I missed something, but since there was a door that I couldn't get to. But well, for now let's continue. If we actually missed something, we'll get it, we'll come back to this stage. Yeah, with these abilities, it actually is quite easy to defeat the mini bosses, mid bosses also called. With freeze, less so, but and of course then we will get our usual hammer. As we've seen, fundamental to unlock so many switches. So we'll get it, of course. Let's see. Okay, perfect. Everything is working as intended. Of course, then okay, perfect. Should be fine. With the hammer, well, we definitely want... well, we try to keep a hammer if possible. Not get through. And here you can see the strength of a hammer. Yeah, we want to hopefully keep it despite all these... okay. Let's be careful. As soon as I say it, of course, you get grabbed by Bugsy. Okay. We managed to keep a hammer and not die. But of course now we can't take any hits. In case I do, I'll like here, I'll rewind to try to keep a hammer in case we need it, because of course we don't need to lose time. If possible, I'd like to finish the game today. Let's see. If we fall here, we die there. And I think also on the other side. So I wonder if there is a secret, if it is there with that door. And so we'll have to figure out how to get to it. Okay, we have this. Okay, we get maximum tomato. And we're actually at the end of the stage. Or jump there. So well. Let's see. Okay, actually completed, so there wasn't a secret, a switch. Perfect. So we can continue. And we also have a hammer if needed. That's great. And we have all these sleep enemies. Well, of course, makes sense also considering that we are getting closer to the Fountain of Dreams, which we have seen the titular Fountain of Dreams, and also mentioned this game's story, the intro, as we have seen. Okay. Wow, amazing. Well, let's try to keep hammer, especially not to lose it in such a way. Of course, then I lose it in another way. Try to keep it once here, but well, this is certainly not the best spot for it. So, a while. Hopefully, we won't need it. Yeah, they give you a maximum tomato since this can be tough, as we have seen, with all these the slippery floor and also these slopes. Okay, we got an invincible candy. Muteki, the kanji, we have studied them. Okay, perfect. Let's continue and see. Okay, nothing here. Okay. Weird that these waterfalls that stop there. And okay, we actually lost it. Please let me keep at least a sword. Let's see. Ah, barely missed the top. Well, 5,000 points. Let's see if... okay, also completed. Nice. So we can continue with stage 4. I suspect that this one will have... well, I think actually we might be fine as it can. When it comes to the collectibles. Of course, then I missed. Got hit by tornado there. And no ball, I refuse. As we have seen, more often than not, it's it hurts you more than helping you. So, nope. Tornado here is not a bad choice, but I'll get a sword. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we have all these rooms, right? Can't remember these. Okay, we get this one now. Okay. I feel like in one of them there might be a secret, but I might be misremembering. Okay, let's stick it here. Ouch. Ita is Kirby, as it says on the bottom right. It hurts, well, to be precise, the adjective which means to be painful, shortened as an exclamation. And we got to the end of the stage. Okay, perfect. Yeah, this one also completed. You might be wondering why this whole part of the level is blocked off, but there's a reason for it, as we'll soon see soon enough. Okay, here, lots of crashes, and of course one of them gets us too close to it. It didn't get us simply because I was... Honestly, in this case, I immediately use it, since of course there are more. Okay, and we'll keep the last one. Okay, perfect. So we can most likely immediately defeat this mini-boss. And get Will. We show the description, but we've already seen it. Yes, these, as you can, depending on their direction, you jump further or fall more quickly, and unfortunately die in this case because of also of the enemy. So yes, you have to be careful with these stars. Unlike what I did there. Okay. Be careful, be careful. Yeah, you have to not die there. That enemy is quite dangerous in that spot. Okay, we barely avoided dying again. And of course then we get one more. But this time we'll get his enemy. We'll, well, wanted to keep it to speed it at this one, but we failed. And so we'll actually see the game over screen. So at least there's that. We'll select continue. We see the hand waking up Kirby that way. Pretty funny. Of course for us more so than for Kirby. Okay, let's get Crash. Let's try to use it to defeat these two. And then we want to get the last one for the mini boss. Perfect. I think that actually we might be good for this to an extent. Yeah, because of that, it's you should try to keep it if possible. Of course, then that might happen, but luckily we managed to survive somehow. Okay, please come here so we can avoid. And also we can use burning to get past all this nonsense this time. Defeating the other enemy. Okay, we have this door. We have fire there. Laser. And yes, this is another infamous room. I think that there might be a cannon related to it. Yeah, you want burning here to hit it. Okay. Well, actually, laser might be better. I think we might need burning, but it's not easy either way. Let's see. Okay. Then you have to be really quick. Yeah, burning might be the only way. Well. Let's see. Yeah, the problem is that then get stuck here, and there's also that enemy that you want to get rid of first and foremost. Honestly, maybe fire could be for the best. Okay, let's get rid of this enemy. Who is the absolute... Yeah, you want fire so that you can activate it from there, honestly. I thought even be exactly how we are supposed to do it, but I'd say that if we can make it work, it will be this way. Barely, but close enough. This is the way for me. Of course not if I do that. To be careful about the laser enemy. Simply ignore it, but be faster than I was there. Perfect. I say perfect, and then another one shows up, of course. Perfect, let's run. Barely missed it. Exactly in the perfect spot to spawn again, of course. Practice there, then we'll activate it. Yes. Fortunately activated that. Okay, no, this time no, we have to quietly approach the very edge and then run. Unfortunate. Actually, I wonder if... no, I don't think laser can actually... Yeah, no. It's the perfect combination to make you not be able to use it. They really don't want you to cheese this. So, honestly... Always slow here. Okay. That absolutely doesn't work. Not like that. Yeah, as you can see, it's really strict, the timing. Honestly, I might check. There's an actual strategy to it that I'm not recording. I quickly do so. So that might save us way more time than... But I wanted to give it a shot at least. Let's see. Okay, no. Good thing I checked because the reward is actually optional, luckily so, because as we have seen is really tricky. But oh well, I wanted to give it a fair try regardless. Yeah, as you can see why it's so famous, this one. Try it once more at least. Well, of course without dying to the laser enemy, please. Thank you. Yeah, no, too slow. Well, since luckily it's optional, we'll ignore it then. And continue. Okay. Yeah. Forward. Jump. Yeah, as you can see, luckily it's completed. Ah, by the way, I was completely forgetting to go back to the title screen. We'll do that immediately before it's too late. To check the new title. And yeah, good thing we did. With this percentage, we get this title, Saigo no Hoshi. First we have Saigo, a Chinese compound of Sai, which is the most, and is used then combined with the most, the extreme, and then is used is combined with other words, in our case Go, which is the Chinese reading for the word which means after, well, first and foremost, behind, and so behind, rear, and so on. Well, it depends, of course, on its reading. When it's in its Chinese reading, more often than not, it simply means after. So the most after, the meaning becomes last, final. Also as in latest and most recent, but strictly speaking it would be last, and only by extension then becomes that. And there are actually other words for latest, most recent. It's by the way accented on the sa, so saigo. Then we had no to make, well, technically it's again a noun with the possessive particle no. It becomes kind of like an adjective this way, last of something. In our case, hoshi. Hoshi, we have already seen it. We have even studied its kanji, as you can see it's on screen here. It's in Hoshi no Kabi, Kirby of the stars, and so yes, means star, and so the last star is our title / rank. Okay, we can continue. We've seen already the animation, the cutscene. So we can tackle stage 6 now. And it's actually a callback to the very first Kirby game, Kirby's Dream Land. Hoshi no Kabi, so Kirby of the Stars, the title of the Kirby series in general, and of its very first game without additions. So yes, we are in greens. It's all monochrome because of course it is just like in the original, since it was on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. And we'll actually have to go through all its stages, of course way shorter, even shorter than the actual game, which is already not that long, unless you play a certain something, but then it becomes longer and more difficult, but I won't mention it for now. Okay. Yeah, here we are in Castle Lololo. Can we get our items, the 1-up, the Maxim Tomato. Now we are on the island. So, level 3. Now that I think about it, maybe the convention of calling Kirby World's level started from the very first game, since, well, there they were actual levels, as it wasn't divided into stages like Kirby's Adventure, the game we're playing. But there, of course, each world was a level, and then it stuck. Even though, to be honest, can be quite confusing, seeing level and then it actually isn't a level in the sense seen in other games. Yes, we are on the clouds, and so the final stage, well, final, of course, then there's actual Mount DDD in the original, but as we should soon see, this is actually the end for in this version. It is a bridge version. As we can see here is the end of the stage. But there's actually a secret, a pretty funny one. There's a door hidden by the moon there, as we have seen. And so our final switch of the game, we unlock the Warp Star Station as expected. We get the maximum tomato and the 1-up. And then we are here to end the stage. Okay, we'll jump. And there's the boss of level 7. You might guess who it is. The one that keeps on showing as the symbol for the boss of each level. Finally, we'll face him. We've mentioned, also mentioned in the story. But first, let's check the Warp Star Station. As you can see, we have also the color here is red. If we go to level 6, it's orange. Level 5, yellow. Level 4, green. Level 3, blue. Level 2, indigo. And last but not least, level 1, violet. And there you have it. Also the Warp Star Stations have the colors of the rainbow in order, starting from level 7 and then going backwards because of the same reason, as mentioned at the end of the last previous episode and this the start of this very one. So we go back to level 7. And we are ready to face the boss. But we'll actually take our usual break now. And when we're back, we'll face the boss and actually finish the game. So, see you in around 5 minutes, as usual. And we are back. And now we face the boss of level 7. Of course, as I mentioned, as it's King Dedede. Oh boy, we don't have actually an ability, so we'll have to rely on his stars. As you can see, they actually don't hurt him a lot. Okay. Of course, then he nailed us. Okay, thank you for the hammer and so the stars. Thank you again. Perfect. Of course, then he nails us. That's not the best. Again, you have to be careful. Of course, I shouldn't miss the stars there. Of course, then I died, but let's be more careful at the start of the fight, honestly. Sorry. Took maybe way too many hits at first. When he nails us, it's the absolute worst. Say it's the most dangerous attack. And luckily by dying we got to see this attack when he floats. Yeah, getting the 2 stars when he jumps is the absolute best. Of course, should avoid getting hit there. First and foremost. Okay, perfect. We avoided that. We hit it like that. Perfect. Ah, too bad that we didn't get a couple stars there. But okay, it worked. Let's rather avoid there. Perfect, and we've defeated King Dedede. King Daio in Japanese. And yes, this is why I didn't start it before the break, because then we get to level 8, the Fountain of Dreams, immediately, automatically. And we see this cutscene with Kirby with the Star Rod, King Dedede getting in the way. Kirby. And that's why, actually. As we'll see soon enough. Yes, he nails us and spits us up there. So we actually face the final boss of the game, but first and foremost we get a new ability, so we'll check that, and its description. Star Lotdo, the famous Star Rod. We've seen before the accent, but it's star on the ta, of course, just like in English. And then maybe we didn't find the one for Roddo, or no, okay, we actually found it, and it was again simply accented as expected on the draw. So just like in English, Roddo. And then we have the description. Koko made kitara, ato hitoiki. First we have Koko. Again, it's part of the Koso Ado series. In this case, and so with the distances, Ko close to both the speaker and the listener. So far from the speaker, close to the listener. A far from both. And Do, the interrogative. And then in this case we add co to make the locative. And so in our case, since we have the distance close to both the speaker and the listener, it becomes here. All the words with ko, so, a are unaccented, while those with do accented on the first syllable, so koko. Then we have made, which is a particle, which means until a time, up to, also to a place or person, as far as, to an extent. So yes, in general, to, as in up to also, until. It's often used in combination with kara, from, and so we have something kara, something else made, and so from the first word and then up to the second one, both in terms of place and also time. Then we have kitara, which comes from the verb kuru, which means to come, is accented, to come spatially but also temporarily. Then we want to make its ta form, but it's the other completely irregular verb, just like suru. And so we simply have to remember that its ta form is kita. Kita, pay attention that its dei is between two unvoiced consonants, and so it's barely heard, if at all. And that's why usually most pronounce it with the accent on the ta instead. Even more so in this case, but because of the following ra, but even on its own. As we have I've mentioned, usually the accent would be on ku, and so will stay on ki, but it moves because the vowel is barely heard, if at all. We make the ta form, which is the past form of the verb, but in this case it's required because then we add ra to make this form of conditional, if, when. Since it's made with the past form of the verb, the ta form, there's this focus on the action of having the action of the verb in tara having already happened, and then something else can happen. So the focus is on something that has happened. Other forms of conditionals have a different focus. We've seen often, for example, to, which is similar to the zero conditional in English. Ba, which is the less specific one, similar kind of like first conditional in English. And nara, which focuses instead on the condition itself, so instead of what happens after this condition is fulfilled, like in this case. And so we have if, when you've come this far, literally up to here. Then we have Ato, Hitoiki. First we have Ato, which funny enough is one of the strictly Japanese kunyomi readings of the kanji. Well, it can also be used with another kanji, but in this case it's most certainly the one we've we've seen before with Go. And in this case, so it has the same meaning, after, later, but also the more physical meaning of placement, behind, rear. So behind Ato. And by the way, yes, the accent is on the A on the first syllable, Ato. By extension, it becomes also more left, which is the meaning most likely in this case, but we'll see it also with the following word, which is Hitoiki. Hitoiki is could also be seen kind of as a combination of numeral plus counter, or simply as a compound, a strictly Japanese compound, because we have the number 1, hito, in its strictly Japanese reading, because it's required by the following word, which is also of a strictly Japanese reading, iki. Iki, I think we have seen it before, maybe also this very compound. Iki, accented on the first syllable, means breath, breathing. So literally, it's one breath. Of course, by extension, also time of one breath, and other extended meanings. But literally, here it's one more breath, as in after one, the time implied of one breath. And so the translation of this part is if you've come this up to here, literally, in English better, this far, it's, the copula is implied, one more breath, the time of one more breath. And so there's literally after one, the time implied of one breath. And so yes, it's so this is the very end of the game. This is the final boss. This is what it wants to say here. Then we actually have the description of the ability, and of course also what I mentioned of the last boss. Hoshi o hassha shite saigo no teki o yatsukeyo. First we have again Hoshi, star, better in this case stars, plural, because of course, well, you can use only one, but of course you then one at a time, but then you actually want to use them repeatedly. by the way, hoshi unaccented. Then we have the object particle o, written as uo and pronounced as such in careful speech and also singing. Then we have hasha, a Chinese compound. We have seen it before, which well, it could also mean have other meanings, another meaning depending on the kanji, but in this case it's definitely the one for firing, launching, shooting. And then we can of course add the verb suru here in as a shite to make the verb literally do firing, launching and shooting, and so to fire, to launch, to shoot. Asha, by the way, an accent should be S. Then we change suru in its the form. As already mentioned, it's completely irregular, so you simply have to remember that it becomes ste. The te form required in this case to either in the sense of do that action and, or even better, considering the rest of the sentence, by shooting stars. Then we have saigo. Again, we've already seen it. The last, the most after, and so the last. Then again we have the possessive particle no to then to put it before a noun and modify it. Then we have teki. We've already seen it, even studied its kanji. We've seen it, the kanji in muteki, when we got the invincible candy. Teki means enemy, also opponent, rival, but in the context of this game and video games in general, often is enemy. Then of course we have the object particle o again. And last but not least we have the verb yatsukeyo, yatsukeru, a compound verb, not a typical one. We've already seen it before because of this the final part of the first verb becomes the doubling of the following consonant of the second verb, part of this compound. But the first verb on its own would be yaru, to do, a colloquial word with the same meaning as suru, but also several other meanings by extension. In our case, specifically to harm, to injure. Then we would technically have it's a verb codon verb, so we would change the u into i to make the continuative form to then attach it to the second verb. But in this case, as mentioned, the ri becomes actually the double consonant of the doubling of the following consonant. Then we have tsukeru. We have seen it a lot, but it's because it's quite common in Japanese, which means to attach, to join, to connect, to add other extended meanings. And so literally tsukeru, by the way, accented, while yaru unaccented. Yeah, tsukeru, luckily accented just like tsukeru, literally would mean to apply, harm, injure, and so its meaning is to beat, to attack an enemy. it's just like tsukeru. It's ru verb, ichidan verb, so we can drop the ru to add yo, u, and so long yo. And so make the volitional form of the verb in its most common meaning, let's. And so the translation becomes let's defeat the last enemy by shooting stars. And there we have our description. Okay, and now we can, as you can see, you can shoot our stars with the star rod, and we have to hit the enemy. Be careful about its attacks. And you can see the so it's actually a shooting sequence. Actually seen something like this in the very first Kirby game, Kirby's Dream Land, Hoshi no Kabi, without anything else in Japanese. Yes, now you have to be careful, but also you have to be quick because, as you might have noticed, the background changes, and with it changing, well, luckily we have defeated it. We are getting close to the ground, and if you are not quick enough, then you actually die. We won't do that. And we actually get the final phase of the final boss. This cutscene. We'll check, but yes, of course it says the same. It's simply the description of the star rod, and then of course it refers to it being the end. We are close to the end, and this being the last enemy. Nightmare. Of course, then here we die because we didn't have health left, but luckily we start again at this second phase. If you have watched the Kirby anime, you might know, or of course also played this game, or other Kirby games where it shows up, but it's quite important in the Kirby anime. It's Nightmare. And yes, you have to hit it when it's not is not covered by the cloak. Of course, be careful not to get hit like I'm doing. Funny enough, we are both at half health. Okay. I was too high, so I kept hitting the part that was shooting and not the one that could be hurt there. Here would be a good spot, but of course we got also hit. But as long as we are careful enough, we should be able to defeat. Perfect. And we get this scream. This. We get the moon blows up. We were on the surface of the moon, and so it becomes a crescent in this sense. not the usual one. Yeah, we can actually see the end of the game, the epilogue here. I'll try to grab it. Let's quickly check if I got the first one. Well, perfect. Okay, we definitely have it. Of course, now I'm saving it and then we'll check it afterwards, so we can pause it. But yes, here it's telling us that King Dedede was actually trying to protect the land from Nightmare. I'm actually saving way too quickly, but I don't want to risk it, to be completely honest. And then we get to see Kirby launching the Star Rod back to its on the top of the Fountain of Dreams. And here, Kirby waves goodbye. Bye, Kirby. And here we get the staff credits. Actually in English, as you can see, so we won't need to check them. So we can simply enjoy them. It's nice to see some pretty famous names, of course. Especially at the start. All the developers laboratory. While of course in the scene we see the Kirby attacking the bosses. Of course, in Meta Knight's case, he gets the sword. Nice hit there. While he was still falling. Of course, then we have King Dedede. Special thanks. So soon enough. Yeah, we get this. We'll check what this... well, I think that maybe... Well, I save it in case it goes away. Yeah, we should be able to check them with... until you press, maybe you're fine. First, the sign says Oshimai. We have the honorific prefix O, and then Shimai from Shimau. We have seen it multiple times. It's also used as an auxiliary verb. Here it's on its own, because it means to finish, to stop, to end, to put an end to bring to a close. Unaccented, and then of course being a U verb, colon verb, we can change the U into I to make the continuative form, and so we get Shimai. It's the corresponding noun, which means end, close, finish, termination. In this case, even with the luckily, okay, unaccented also. And then, of course, with the honorific prefix, becomes polite. but it's also usual to see it as to say the end. That's it. That's all. As we see, there are other words also for ending, but this is one of them. And then on the bottom right, in our usual spot where the copyability icons and so on show up, we have bye bye with even the hand waving it. Of course, even though it's written there as in hiragana, it would usually be written in katakana and is bye bye from English, accented on the first syllable, bye bye. And yes, with that we have checked these writings. We have to go back then to check the story, but first I'll press the start button and we get this screen. I also catch this one, but we'll check it immediately. Ekistora game. Ekistora is extra from English. We check its accent. Well, to be fair, usually there are actually two forms of this word nowadays. Eki sutora, accented on the su, and it's actually used nowadays, especially for extra in a film. Of course, as in the extra actors. Then we have eku sutora, the one you'd expect nowadays, so most likely it's more recent. I can't see its accent here. I'll check it on my physical dictionary. But first, its meaning is again extra, but more in the meaning of surplus, excess, additional, special, extraordinary. So most meaning of the word, and so that's what you usually find. Technically would be used, the one you should use also in this context, but of course, especially as mentions the dictionary, some might use them differently. Okay, I'll check the dictionary to check the accent. Got my physical dictionary. Let's see if I can find it here. Eku. Yeah, no, unfortunately it's not present. We have other accents of the ekistora, the one we see here, and honestly the one that I would have used on the key, because the su then becomes the u becomes barely heard, if at all, being between unvoiced consonants. Technically also the key, but usually when you have them in sequence, only one gets is barely heard if at all. In our case, would be su. And so yes, there are these alternative forms which make more sense because of that. On the key ekistora, or on the to ekistora, ekistora, and then on the su, but again, most don't put the accent on syllables where the vowel is barely heard if at all. And then of course we have our usual game, luckily accented on ge as expected. And then we have the description, the actual message. First and foremost, omedetou. Omedetou comes from medetai, which means happy, auspicious, propitious, joyous. Then we add the o, the honorific prefix o, being a word of strictly Japanese origin. The other prefix, the most common one, is go, usually used with Chinese words, but there are some exceptions. In this case, then, we would change the I. We will make the adverbial form, well, the form in ku, by dropping the I and adding ku. Omedetaku. In this case, to add gozaimasu, a humble form of gozaru, a humble form of aru, the meaning is the same, to be, as in the sense to exist, used in this case to make this conjugation of the adjective, to make it a humble form. It's one of those honorific verbs that where the continuative form of the verb is made by actually changing the dropping the ru and changing it into I. Kozai instead of gozari. Most likely originally was gozari, but then simply the r dropped, because it was easier to pronounce it that way. To then add mas to make the polite form of the verb. Then there was a further change. Omedetaku gozaimasu. The k medetaku, the k dropped, and so it would become ta-u. But because of the evolution of the Japanese language, that a-u sequence became long o. Ta-u, to. And so it would be omedetou gozaimasu in its extended form. Here it's shortened into omedetou, unaccented. And it's the expression used for congratulations, well done, also best wishes, all the best, congratulations is the fundamental meaning. It comes from the adjective medetai, which we have seen means happy, auspicious. The similar meanings. So here it says simply congratulations. Menu でエキストラゲームを選び、新しい冒険に出かけよう。First we have menu. Of course counts. It's the same word as in English. Technically, in this case, from French, and that's why it's directly from French, and that's why we have the long vowel at the end, menu. Also this new to simulate the U from French. Menu. We'll check its accent. But unlike French, it's accented in Japanese on the first syllable, so menu. Menu, of course, in all the its meanings. Just like in English, both at a restaurant and also in computer menus, like in our case here. Then we have the particle de, which means, in this case, at the location, used, as I mentioned before, with most verbs. The exception are the verbs of existence, like aru, also gozaimasu, so gozaru, it's a humble form. Iru, another example being sumu, to live. In which case, to express the location, we would use the particle ni, but most verbs, like in our case, use te instead. So, at the menu, extra game, the extra game, as seen in the title, then the object particle o, then we have the verb erabi, from erabu. We'll check its accent. I think unaccented, but I could be wrong. Means to choose, to select. Okay, it's actually accented, so I was wrong. Erabu. Of course, it's a u verb, colon verb, so we can change the u into e to make the continuative form. And so, in this case, actually, in its meaning, and, or also by choosing, practically just like the te form. Then we have atarashi. Atarashi is an adjective which means new. Should be accented, yes. Atarashi. So new, and then we have, in this case, a following noun modified by it. Woken, we've seen it before, means adventure. Literally, venture, which is unlikely to succeed, risky attempt, as we have seen, based on also the kanji of which that form it. It's a Chinese compound, but in video games then it becomes typically adventure. Should be an accent, yes. Then we have the particle ni, literally to. Well, in this case, to we'll see that it's required by the verb, which is the kakeyo, a compound verb composed of deru. We have seen it before. It's accented, means to exit, to leave, to exit, to go out. And then we have, of course, it's a ru verb, it's done verb, so we can drop the ru to make the continuative form, and so attach the second verb, part of the compound, which is kakeru, accented, which on its own means to hang up, and so also several extended meanings. For example, as we see, to put on, for example, a blanket, to put on glasses, because technically you make them hang. Then several extended ones, but in our case, being the second part of the compound, it actually can have the meaning, well, as the second part of a compound, a verb compound, it has the meanings to be partway doing, to begin but not complete, to be about to. So in our case, it's this meaning, to begin but technically not complete. We'll see in which sense, or to be about to. As we'll eventually see, also to address someone, to direct something to someone, to do something to someone, but it's not our case. Of course, these are extended meanings from the fundamental meaning, which is to hang up. And then we have our compound verb, the kakeru. Unfortunately, unaccented, despite kakeru being accented, so be careful. Which means to go out. To go out in the specific meaning on, for example, an excursion or outing. So, to leave, to depart. And there we have the meaning of kakeru as something that begins but doesn't end, at least doesn't end in this, it's not complete in this moment, or to be about to. Then being just like kakeru, ru verb, it's done verb, we can drop the ru to add yo to make the volitional form, and so let's. So the meaning so far is at the menu, could also be with, because that also means with, as in the means of with which you do something. Better at, I'd say in this case, but technically it could work. At the menu, choose extra game and let's depart. Let's set out to, and that's why we have ni, a new adventure. Then we have the rest. Demo. Tairyoku no Maxu wa Mitsu and then it will technically end there, even though so we'll check that. Demo, however, literally we have the te form of the copula, de, plus mo, the inclusive particle, also even though, so even, and that's why we have mo, though it is that way, implied, and so in reference with everything that has been said before, demo is found at the start of a sentence in reference to the previous ones. The previous one. Then we have Tairyoku, which is a Chinese compound, which means literally body energy, body strength. Tai, again, the Chinese reading of the kanji for body, the most common one, karada, in its strictly Japanese reading, as we have seen before. Ryoku, the Chinese reading of the kanji, with the reading, strictly Japanese reading, chikara. So literally body strength, physical strength, and so also power, stamina, endurance, vigor. In our case, it's I'd say stamina, as in Kirby's health. Then we have the possessive particle no, so of stamina. Then we have maxu. It's also written here in katakana, and yes, it's the word max from English. The abbreviation, accented on the ma, as expected. Then we have the topic particle wa, written as ha. As for the max of stamina, of literally body strength, physical strength. And then we have mitsu. Mitsu, we have a number here written with our numerals, and then we add the counter, which is the general purpose one here, used with strictly Japanese numerals, and so we for the number 3, mi with a small tsu at the end, and so the doubling of the following consonant, which is the big tsu, mitsu, accented on the last syllable. And so we have the translation. However, as for the max of body health, literally, so stamina, it's implied, the copula, or better, in this case it would be the verb aru, there is, there are 3 units. And so, yes, you have half health in this extra mode. And then we have the final part, kiroku seibu wa dekinai yo. Kiroku, we have seen it before. It means record, as in document, also recording, as in the record, also for example in sports. But in our case, it's in the meaning of explicited here by the word in between parentheses, seibu. Seibu from English, of course. Save should be accent, yes, on the se. Seibu. Saving, save literally, so saving. And of course, save as in computer. Also, of course, in baseball, since baseball is quite important in Japan. Yes, seibu, save, just like in English. Then we have the topic particle wa. As for recording, as in saving, then we have the verb dekinai, yo, and then yo, but we'll see it in a second. Dekinai comes from dekiru. We've seen it before, means to be able to do. And also used because of its meaning as a replacement of the potential form of suru. So instead of conjugating suru, you straight up replace it with this verb, which already means to be able to do, dekiru, to make the potential form of suru. And so technically it would be again our usual Chinese compound or English word plus suru. So literally to do recording, to do saving, and so to record your progress, to save your progress, implied of course. Being a ru verb, ichidan verb, we can drop the ru to add nai. Nai, as a reminder, an adjective which means to not be there, as in to not exist, but it's used also as the negative form of the verb in plain speech. And so can't record, can't save your progress, implied. Last but not least, we have yo, final sentence particle, which means hey, or you know. Yeah, yo has various meanings, can be emphasis, contempt, request, warning, and so on. Warning in our case. And so the translation of this is as for recording, saving, you can't, you implied, can't do it, you know. And so we've seen the description of the extra game. And with that, we have the 100% file. And then to the right of it, we see Ekistora extra. We have the new title, Densetsu no Yuu sha. Densetsu, we've seen it before in the previous series, The Legend of Zelda. Densetsu means legend, is an accented Chinese compound. Then we have the possessive particle no, of legend. And then we have Yusha, which means hero. Literally, it's a Chinese compound accented on the first syllable Yusha, you means courage, bravery, and so literally brave person. We have then Sha, which we have studied as a person, her. And so, Hero of Legend is our title. And so yes, we could technically start this file to continue the game, as we can see here, Game no Suzuki o Asobu. Suzuki from Suzuku, which means to continue. We can then change its unaccented, okay. It's then we can change it's a verb colon verb. We can change the root into it to make the continuative form, so the corresponding noun. The continue, or the object particle, asobu, should be unaccented, means to play. As unaccented. Then we have a bonus stage or asobu. Play the bonus stages. And I think it means by that the bonus games. We can actually check it. Unfortunately, since we are getting closer to the end of the stream, we can check the ending of the game today. So we'll actually might check what this bonus stage is instead, and we'll do that next time. We have seen that those parts can take us quite long, so might take even the whole stream. If not, we'll see what to do. I also have a certain something to show after that, because then we have the extra game or asobu, play the extra game, but we won't play the extra game because, as it mentioned, is more difficult. You don't get to save, so we won't play it. And then we have the other option, which is Modoru, seen it before, to return, to go back. Seen it when going back to the previous word above the door, accented by the way. But yes, you technically there are some unlockables by playing the extra game. But I simply show the most important ones on with Kirby and another site. And yeah, since we don't have, unfortunately, don't have time to check the story with the ending, we'll do that next time. Because as we have seen, there are actually, well, of course I took too many, but we have 1, 2, 3. Sorry, let's see if it was let's quickly check, but yeah, definitely we don't have the time for that. Honestly, if we have some extra time, funny enough, we might actually give the extra game a try, but I don't guarantee it. Otherwise, we'll simply check what I mentioned. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, not sure if this one also was the same or not. I'm not checking now. 11, yeah, we have quite a lot of story to read, so and of course not just to read but to translate and explain, so we'll do that next time. Since we have a little more time, we can check what is... Okay, yes, we can... if we clicked, we chose the continuation of the game, you simply go back to the your save file, and so you would be able to continue if you missed some switches to get 100%. In the bonus games we have Crane Fever, Crane Fiba, then with the particle te, and so with, and then again Asobu, play with Crane Fever, quick draw Kirby in Japanese, quick draw without Kirby in English, play with quick draw Kirby, Tamago caccia the Asobu, play with egg catcher. And then we have another option, which is boss to taiketsu suru. Boss, of course, okay, sorry, we should be back. Sorry about the convenience. OBS crashed for some reason. As I was mentioning, boss from English, boss. Should be accented on the first syllable, yes, as expected. Then we have the particle to, with, as in with someone, with bosses, boss here, but can also be plural, and it is plural, of course, in our case. Then we have taiketsu, which means confrontation. Tai is a Chinese compound with the first kanji, tai, meaning opposite, versus, and then ketsu, which means decide, and it's used also in compounds like kessen should be decisive battle, by the way unaccented as expected, both kessen and taiketsu. And so confrontation take it to versus and then decisive, of course, of decisive battle and so on. So confrontation, showdown. And then we add suru to make the verb literally do a confrontation, do a showdown, and so it can stay also like that in English. And so to do a confrontation and showdown with the bosses, so a boss rush. I'll actually consider next time, even though it will be difficult since you don't think you get health back. Of course, we can actually use save states if necessary. But I think that the unlockable for the well, actually I think that you don't unlock anything with the boss rush in this case, in this game, unlike other ones. I'll quickly check, so actually playing the extra game would be better. Quickly, so I can tell you what we'll do next time. Well, of course, first and foremost, next time we'll read the conclusion, the ending story, the ending of the story. And then, depending on the time, we'll decide what to do. Otherwise, the extra game risks to be too long, and also it's difficult. Also, and also this one can be difficult. But I don't remember what it unlocks. Let's see. Okay, no. Simply, it's just for fun then. It's just for those looking for a challenge, that one. While you do get something for the extra game, we'll see depending on the how much time we have. We might simply check some of the writings you get. Most of the writings you get after it, they aren't a lot. And so we might simply do that depending on how long it is. So actually we'll have one extra episode of Kirby's Adventure. Can close. And so on Monday we'll still play Kirby's Adventure. We'll check, we'll do all that I've already mentioned. Check the ending, read, translate, explain, and then we'll see how much time is left and decide from that there. If there isn't much time, I might just try the boss rush for fun. Doubt we'll have enough time for the extra game, and we'll simply check most of the writings unlocked by doing that on sites. Okay, so actually see you on Monday for the last episode of Kirby's Adventure, hopefully, while we do all that. See you on Sunday for, unless plans change, of course, for a game played mostly just for fun. I haven't decided which one yet, so we'll see. Okay, that's it. See you next time.